we were experimenting, trying to do everything we could think of to create these scenarios through our website and then be able to create this data at scale about how well somebody was or wasn't performing in that simulation. God, we tried everything. We stayed up late at night. It was always a human in the loop, always. It was so hard to automate that away. I think we founded the company, like we did the paperwork in 2019. We didn't really start working on it until 2021. That's when we started like with products, starting experimenting, having real users on platform. The Transformers paper, the Google Transformers paper, basically talking about like that, laying the foundation for what we know of as large language models today, that came out in mid 2023. Chat GPT was released in November 2023. At that point, when the Transformer paper first came out, we were looking everywhere for a tech solution. And we saw like a glimmer of hope in the Transformers, but then when ChatGPT was released, that was the first commercially deployable large language model that wasn't just a chat bot, but you could API call that same capability. We hired, he's now a co-founder. Our first true technical leader, we hired a couple months before this, and he had been working with Transformers. He had been working in ML for years. When we hired him, he knew what we were trying to do, and he actually suggested, hey, I think there's a better way for us to take these tools and to be able to execute and get to what you want to build. And that change unlocked, like that released a renaissance of what we could do. Suddenly, simulations that were like, it felt like we were literally like writing them with a pen and a quill and a candle late into the night. Like this couldn't have been more like Charles Dickens old school era. Suddenly we could generate these to be incredibly customizable through this backend that we built that basically combines a couple dozen, basically calls and helps orchestrate multiple large language models to create this experience. We figured that piece out, and then we figured out the evaluation piece completely separately. But those two unlocks happened in the back half of 2023 and like the first couple of months of 2024. Man, and it has been off to the races ever since. Some of our investors call it a technical or a technology pivot. We've always had the same problem. We've always looked at the same business model.
Right.
But that tech unlock was the critical piece. And again, like luck played such a role. Like we were so fortunate that we were working on the problem when that came out. But that's how we got to where we are right now.
Yeah. And so it's really technology coming out at the right time to be able to solve that problem.
That's part of it, right? Like that's what startups really comes down to is
right.
In a certain way, there's only so many different sectors
you
can choose to focus on. There's only so many business models out there.
Yeah.
But every single time there's a platform change, every single time there is like that stepwise change in technology, that's the disruption that you can then build into.